This is a long history. Back in those days, the idea of a solar-powered vehicle was completely alien. Even in the early 2000s, we'd be driving in events and people would be astonished that such a thing was even possible or conceivable.
We barely had any tools when we started, right? Like I had a claw hammer, which is not even the right type of hammer to be using for anything. And like a few tools in a filing cabinet, right? And to see it kind of grow and into an entity that has, workshop space that the university, is paying for and proper, cabinets and, storage and computers and their own network now and, all sorts of things. I mean, I think that's really great.
No other design team really on campus has that much history, and we have been around for so long because we keep innovating and there's still room to grow and there's still room to improve, and we keep actually improving and doing that.
Just a bunch of people that saw a need to do something, whether it's about climate change or, about technology or all those things together.
The team changed quite a lot in the last 20 years. Obviously the rules and regulations have changed over time, and so the car's look and shape and optimal performance has changed as well. The students have changed, the technology has changed, and so the way we think about designing the cars and the approaches that are being used are definitely different than they were, long ago.
Always struggling to get respect from the university, not only funding but facilities, and just kind of get our name out there to attract team members, and so all those things were difficult. First we had a workshop space that was in a basement, and so we had to actually lift the car out through windows that we had to disassemble, get it outside to be able to test it. So that was a huge impediment. And then actually when I took over the team, there was no workshop space because we got even kicked out of there. And so I had to go and rent a workshop to actually even make things happen. American Solar Challenge in 1999, it rained all day every day, and luckily we had spent a lot of time making sure our car was waterproof with wheel wells and all that stuff, so that was really helpful. We had a very solid car, probably a little bit too heavy.
One time during the race on a rainy day, one of our power converters in the car failed due to water ingress, and that was when we noticed. The team immediately kicked into gear, and all of us got into position. We stopped the car, we swapped out the board in just a minute, I think, mere minutes. And that is when I realized that all of our training, all of our friendship, our teamwork, it's really coming together, culminating at that moment. And without that, I think we wouldn't have completed the race, and I'm glad that the team has evolved so much.
And there's a lot of other teams and schools participating in those events, and we get along really well together and tend to have a lot of strong team camaraderie on the race when we race. And so over the years, we've had a lot of really great relationships with some of the other teams on the race, and been in a position where, when we needed help, they helped us and we helped them.
Managed to beat Waterloo by a minute, which was kind of crazy, because we had kind of done all of our shipping and logistics with them, flown down to Sydney together, driven to Melbourne to pick up the cars, and then driven together to Darwin, and then started the race together, obviously, and then just finished within a minute. At the end they had a breakdown, and we actually were kind of contemplating stopping and waiting for them so that we could kind of cross the line together. So it wasn't super competitive.
I think what makes the philosophy of Blue Sky unique is that we try to maintain our status as an undergraduate design team. Now, there are obviously many disadvantages to doing this, but I think it creates this very unique experience for all the members on the team. We all come in, with some knowledge from class. We don't really know what we're doing, and we have to work together and figure things out. Try to facilitate knowledge transfer, try to implement good design practices, and I think the fact that we are going sort of from zero to a car here helps us really discover how we work best by ourselves and reach our best potential. Leading the elect team also helps me practice my soft skills. It is not a simple task to manage a team with 3 sub-teams and 20 or so people. And there are a lot of techniques that I've picked up over time to make sure everything is going as efficiently as it can.
It's definitely grown my leadership skills. I haven't really taken on a major leadership position prior to this. So it was kind of a learning process.
Really, in Outback, there's nothing quite like it. Driving across the desert for a number of days and driving only on solar power. It's pretty incredible.
I attended the fall 2017 Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. It was my first time going to Australia, in fact, and it was a great experience. The race was very exciting. The weather turned out very challenging.
It was probably one of the most amazing adventures I've ever had in my life. I gained a lot of lifelong friends when I kind of really got to know the team. Outback is absolutely beautiful. The weather can be temperamental. And the feeling of kind of finally crossing the finish line after there was some moments of like, oh my god, are we actually going to finish? Are we going to have to trailer? It was a really amazing relief, celebratory feeling.
You know, the hands-on engineering experience is like super important. You know, U of T probably gets mentioned as a more academic kind of engineering institution, and so being able to apply that stuff hands-on, you know, learn those learnings and have it feed back into your into your studies, I think is really important, and have that happen really, you know, kind of continuous feedback loop there. And it's a great thing for any engineer.
The Blue Sky project was pretty instrumental in my education as an engineer. It provided a real outlet for practical, hands-on knowledge and complemented quite strongly the class curriculum that we were doing. So it was a really impactful part of my engineering career, not even just my educational career, but also my engineering career. You know, after I left school, I've still been involved with the project, and being engaged with the students, you know, keeps one thinking about new problems. It's been really great.
I'm excited about Viridian because after a few generations, we seem to have went back to a symmetric car design, and at least in my experience, I haven't seen how a car like that performs, so I'm excited to see that. And there has also been many improvements and new technologies employed in the electrical system that I believe will make our car run a lot better and also help the next cycle start up faster. So I'm excited to see how these will perform in the race.